I still remember that night, the sound of the rain, the smell of her perfume fading in the hall. I was making coffee when she whispered behind me, "Ethan, we need to talk." I turned, smiling. "Talk about what? You look pale. Everything okay?" She didn't answer. Her eyes were red, her hands trembling. She clutched her coat like she was afraid to drop it. "Lena." I stepped closer. "What's wrong?" She took a shaky breath. "I can't do this anymore." The words hit me like a punch. "Do what? What are you talking about?" "This," she said softly. "Us." I laughed nervously. "That's not funny. I'm not joking, Ethan." For a second I thought she was teasing me, maybe angry about something small. But her voice didn't shake like that when she was angry. It shook like something was breaking. "You said you loved me this morning," I said, my chest tightening. "You held my hand and said forever." Her lip quivered. "I know what I said, then. What changed in 12 hours? Tell me what happened." She shook her head, tears spilling. "I just can't. Please don't make this harder." "Harder?" I snapped. "You're walking out, Lena. You don't get to tell me how hard this is. You owe me an explanation." Her voice cracked. "I'm sorry, Ethan. I swear I am. But if I stay, I'll destroy you." I stared at her. "You already are." She covered her mouth, crying quietly. I felt my anger collapse into panic. Is it something I did? Did I say something wrong? "Just tell me what to fix." "It's not you," she whispered. "Then who?" My throat felt raw. "There has to be a reason." She turned away. "Sometimes love just dies." "Not ours," I said quickly. "Ours doesn't die. You promised forever." She froze, then whispered, "Forever was a beautiful lie." I stumbled back like she'd hit me. "So, that's it? You walk out and call it a lie?" "I'm not strong enough for this," she said, clutching her coat tighter. "Then let me be strong for both of us." I shouted. "We fought through everything, every mistake, every argument. You can't just walk away now." Her eyes lifted to mine, full of guilt, full of something I couldn't name. "I wish I could stay and stay." Her voice dropped to a whisper. "I can't." The word echoed in my head over and over. "I can't." I stepped forward, desperate. "Look at me, Lena. Tell me you don't love me anymore, and I'll let you go."
Not.
For a moment, I saw the woman who once called me her world. Then she said softly, "I can't say that." "Then why are you leaving?" She wiped her tears. "Because love isn't always enough." "That's a lie," I whispered. "Love is supposed to be enough." She shook her head. "Not for me." The air went still. The clock ticked behind us. I could hear my heartbeat, heavy and uneven. "Please," I said quietly, "don't do this. We can fix whatever it is." "Just tell me what's wrong." Her voice broke. "If I stay, I'll hurt you worse than leaving ever could." "What could hurt more than this?" She didn't answer. She just stood there, crying softly, until she whispered, "Goodbye, Ethan." "Lena," I reached out, but she stepped back. "Don't," she said gently. "If you touch me, I won't be able to leave." I froze. My hand hung in the air like a question that would never be answered. She turned toward the door. The rain outside grew louder. I wanted to run after her, to beg her again. But something in me cracked, something that told me it was already over. "Please say something," I whispered. She hesitated at the doorway. "I'm sorry." Then she left. The sound of the door closing was louder than thunder. I stood there for a long time, staring at the empty space where she had been. Her mug sat on the table, half full. Her scent lingered in the air. I wanted to scream, but no sound came out. The house was silent, and in that silence I realized that was the sound of forever ending. Mornings used to start with her laughter. Now, they start with silence. Her coffee cup still sits by the window, lipstick stain faded but not gone. Every day I tell myself I'll put it away. Every day I don't. Claire called this morning. "Ethan, you need to eat something," she said. "I'm fine," I muttered, staring at the cup. "You're not fine," she sighed. "It's been 3 weeks. You can't keep living like this." "She'll come back," I said quietly. Ethan, I know her, Claire. She just needs time. She realized she made a mistake. Claire's voice softened. You can't wait forever. Maybe forever's all I have left. She didn't respond. I heard her breathe, then whisper, I'm coming over. No, I said quickly. Don't. I'm fine. I hung up before she could argue. I wasn't fine, but I didn't need anyone to see that. That afternoon, someone knocked. I thought for a second it was her. I almost ran to the door, but it was Adam. He grinned softly. Hey, man. Thought I'd check in, Adam, I said, forcing a smile. You didn't have to. I wanted to. You've been off the grid. Claire said you barely talk. Did she send you? He shrugged. She's worried. We all are. I stepped aside. Come in. He looked around, his eyes landing on Lena's coat still hanging by the door. You kept it? Couldn't throw it away? I said. He nodded slowly. You really loved her. I stared at him. Still do? Even after what she did? My stomach tightened. What she did? She just left. He hesitated. Sometimes people don't leave for no reason, Ethan. I frowned. What's that supposed to mean? Nothing, he said quickly. I just mean, maybe she wasn't happy. I laughed bitterly. She was happy. I know she was. We had plans. Adam leaned on the counter, studying me. Then something must have changed. Yeah, I said quietly. She did. He didn't reply. The silence between us stretched until I said, You ever lose someone like that? Once, he murmured. Didn't end well. I looked at him. You ever wonder if maybe they'll come back? He smiled faintly. Sometimes, but they never do. The words sank like stones. I tried to change the subject. You still working at the firm? Yeah, busy as hell. You should come by sometime. Get your mind off things. I can't even get my mind off her, Adam. He looked sympathetic. You will, eventually. When he left, I watched him walk to his car. He turned once and waved. I waved back. Something in his smile felt off, but maybe I was imagining it. That night, Claire texted again. Claire, did Adam come by?
Me, yeah. Claire, good. You need friends around you.
Me, he's different lately. Claire, different how? Me, just, I don't know. Something in his eyes. I didn't send that last text. I deleted it. Maybe I was paranoid. I walked to the kitchen, poured coffee into her cup, and sat in the dark. I kept hearing her voice. Love isn't always enough. I whispered back. Then what was it for you, Lena? The clock ticked louder than usual. I picked up my phone, scrolling through our old photos. There she was, laughing in the park, kissing me at sunset. Promising forever. Adam had taken that photo. I stared at his reflection in the background, smiling. Standing just a little too close to her. A strange chill ran through me. I whispered no. That can't be. But once you see something, you can't unsee it. Her eyes in that photo weren't looking at me. They were looking at him. The phone slipped from my hand. Landing face down on the table, I sat there in the dark, coffee growing cold. Heart refusing to accept what my eyes just saw. She said love wasn't enough. Maybe she already gave hers to someone else. The bar was louder than usual that night. Laughter, clinking glasses, the hum of 100 conversations, but somehow I heard my name. Ethan doesn't know, someone whispered. I turned toward the corner booth. Adam's voice low, confident, familiar. Then I heard another name. Lena. My chest tightened. I froze, pretending to scroll my phone, but my pulse roared in my ears. She's happier now, Adam said. The woman with him laughed. You sure about that? Trust me, he replied. She made her choice. My fingers clenched around my glass. She made her choice? I stood and walked toward their table before my brain could stop me. Made her choice about what? Adam looked up, startled. Ethan, hey man? Didn't see you there? Clearly? My voice was calm, too calm. So, what choice were you talking about? He smiled, forcing casualness. You must have misheard. Heard my name. I heard hers. Explain it. He leaned back. You're drunk, Ethan. Sit down. I'm not drunk. Then stop acting like it. The woman looked uncomfortable. Maybe I should go. Adam nodded quickly. Yeah, Emily, it's fine. I'll call you later. Emily, Lena's best friend. She gave me a small, guilty look as she left. I turned back to him. You're meeting Lena's friend now? He shrugged. She reached out. Wanted to check on you? By having drinks with you? He sighed. You're reading too much into things. I heard you say she's happier now. What did you mean? She left you, Ethan. You're still in denial. I'm just saying maybe it was for the best. The best for who? He hesitated, then smirked. Maybe for everyone. I slammed my glass down. You think this is funny? He stood. Calm down before you embarrass yourself. I'm not the one sneaking behind people's backs. He grabbed my shoulder. You're losing it, man. I shoved his hand off. Then tell me the truth. There is no truth. She was unhappy. You couldn't see it. You sound like you know exactly why she left. 'Cause I do, he said quietly. She told me. The world tilted for a second. She told you? Why you? He looked away. Because you wouldn't listen. I stared at him. And what did she say? That she felt trapped. Trapped, I repeated. Trapped with me? He nodded once. She said she needed space. I laughed bitterly. And you gave it to her, didn't you? You always knew how to fill a space. Don't twist it, he warned. I don't have to twist anything. You just confirmed it. People were watching now, a few heads turned, whispers spreading like fire. Adam stepped closer, lowering his voice. You're hurt, get it? But you're not thinking straight. Go home, sleep it off. I leaned in. Tell me, Adam, did you sleep it off with her too? His jaw tightened. Watch your mouth. That's what she used to tell me, I muttered. He pushed past me and walked out. I stood there, shaking. My throat burned. My chest felt hollow. Emily was standing outside, leaning against the wall, arms crossed. When she saw me, she sighed. You shouldn't have confronted him here. Then where should I have done it? She hesitated. You think you know everything, Ethan, but you don't. Then tell me what I don't know. It's not my place. Whose place is it? Hers? She's gone. All that's left is silence. Emily looked down. Sometimes silence hides more than you think. Meaning, she didn't leave because she stopped caring, then why? Her eyes softened. Ask Adam that question again when he's ready to answer it honestly. Why can't you just say it? Because I made a promise, she whispered. To who? To the one who walked away. I swallowed hard. She's protecting him, isn't she? Emily didn't reply. She turned and walked away, her heels echoing against the pavement. I stood there, the night cold and heavy. When I finally got home, I opened my laptop, trying to drown in work. But my notifications flashed a photo tag. Curiosity 1. I clicked. It was Adam's post. He was at some charity event, glass in hand, suit perfectly pressed. But what froze me wasn't him. It was Lena, standing beside him, smiling. Her hand rested on his arm, like it belonged there. The caption read, Old Friends. New Beginnings. I stared at it for a long time, my heart sinking into something darker than pain. So that's what happiness looked like now, her. Beside the man who used to be my brother and me, realizing I'd been the fool all along. Ethan, we need to talk. The tremor in Emily's voice sliced through the silence of my apartment. I hadn't heard from her since the night Lena left. I tightened my grip on the phone. What is it, Emily? Did something happen to Lena? No, she whispered. But you deserve to know why she left. My heart began to pound. I already know why. She said she couldn't do this anymore. End of story. That's not the truth. I stood, pacing across the floor littered with old coffee cups. Then what is? Because I've replayed every moment, every word, and nothing makes sense. Ethan. Lena didn't leave for herself. She left because she was scared. Scared? I laughed bitterly. Of what? Of loving me? No, of losing everything. Adam told her you were cheating. The name hit like a bullet. I stopped breathing. Adam. Yes, Adam, my best friend, told her I was cheating. Her voice cracked. He showed her things. Messages, photos. I clenched my jaw. What photos? Fake ones. He edited them. He made it look like you were seeing someone else. He said he caught you at a hotel. I pressed my palm against my forehead, trying to steady the world that suddenly tilted. That's impossible. She actually believed him? She didn't want to, Ethan. She cried for days. But Adam was always there. He said he was helping her heal. I laughed again, the sound hollow. Helping her heal while stabbing me in the back? I tried to stop him, Emily said. I told her it didn't feel right, but she wouldn't listen. She thought you'd replaced her long before she left. God. I sank onto the couch. The air felt heavy. He planned this. He played both of us. I'm sorry, she whispered. I couldn't keep it from you any longer. How long? My voice came out rough. How long were they together before she left? There was a pause. I could hear her breathing. A few months. Felt something in my chest crack. Months, I repeated. And he looked me in the eyes every day. He drank with me. He told me she'd come back. All while sleeping with her. Ethan, no, I snapped. Don't. Don't make excuses for them. I'm not. I know she regretted it. She told me once she wished she could undo everything. Regret doesn't erase betrayal. My voice dropped to a whisper. She destroyed me, Emily. But he turned that knife. The line went silent for a moment. Then she said softly, I thought you should hear it from me. I didn't want you to find out some other way. Why now? I asked. Why tell me after all this time? Because Adam's been telling people things again. Lies. And I couldn't watch him ruin what's left of you. I rubbed my eyes. He already did. Ethan. Her voice broke. Please don't do anything stupid. I almost smiled. Too late for that. Promise me, she said urgently. Promise you won't confront him tonight. I stared at the wall where Lena's photo still hung. Her smile looked smaller now, her eyes colder. I promise nothing, I said quietly. Ethan, I ended the call. For a long time, I just sat there, listening to the hum of the refrigerator, the distant sound of rain. My thoughts blurred into static. I remembered Adam's words from weeks ago. You're paranoid, man. Paranoid. He'd looked me straight in the face while stealing the only thing that ever mattered. I stood and walked to the counter. Her coffee cup was still there, a thin ring of dust marking where her lips once touched it. I picked it up and stared at the faint stain at the bottom. Scared? I murmured. You left because you were scared. Or because he made it easy to. My hand trembled. The cup slipped and shattered against the floor, scattering porcelain shards like broken memories. I didn't flinch. I just stared at the mess. Maybe this was what the truth felt like. Quiet, sharp, impossible to clean up. Outside, thunder rolled across the sky. I felt something inside me harden, slow and certain. They had taken everything, and I was done being the victim. I turned off the lights, leaving the room in darkness. The silence wasn't empty anymore. It was waiting. I used to think revenge would taste sweet, but the more I planned, the more bitter it felt on my tongue. When I walked into the office that morning, everyone's eyes followed me. Whispers trailed behind my steps, the kind that always meant something was about to explode. Mark, Reynolds called out from his office. Ethan, close the door. I did. He leaned back in his chair, arms folded. You've been digging into Adam's files, haven't you? I met his gaze. You should take a look yourself. There's something you need to see. He frowned as I slid a folder across the desk. Printouts, emails, falsified contracts. Adam's masterpiece of deception. Mark's expression changed as he flipped through the pages. Where did you get these? From the company servers? You always said transparency matters. He looked up sharply. Do you have any idea what this could mean? Yeah, I said. It means you've been trusting a fraud. Mark exhaled slowly. If this is true, it is. My voice was steady. You can call Grace. She helped me confirm it. He nodded toward the door. Send her in. Grace entered, eyes darting between us. What's going on? Tell him, I said. She hesitated, then sighed. It's true, Mark. I checked the audit logs myself. Adam redirected funds through dummy accounts. He's been doing it for months. Mark's jaw tightened. Find him now. When Adam was called into the office an hour later, I watched from my desk. He still had that smug confidence, the one that once fooled me. Ethan, he said, smirking. You look tense. Something wrong? Go talk to Mark, I said. He's waiting for you. The color drained from his face. Why, you'll see. He left without another word. A few minutes later, shouting echoed from Mark's office. The entire floor went silent. Then Adam stormed out, his face red with fury. He stopped in front of me. You did this? I leaned back in my chair. No, Adam, you did this. You think this makes you better than me? He snapped. You ruined my life. I stood slowly. You ruined it yourself when you lied to everyone. When you lied to me, he glared, his voice trembling. Lena told me what you did. Do you think she'll ever forgive you for this? I smiled coldly. I'm not looking for forgiveness anymore. He clenched his fists, then turned and walked out. I watched him go, a hollow satisfaction spreading through my chest. Grace came over quietly. You okay? I should be, I said. Isn't this what justice looks like? She gave a small, sympathetic smile. Sometimes justice and peace aren't the same thing. When she walked away, I stared at the empty chair Adam used to sit in. It looked strange, like a ghost had been evicted. That evening, Lena called. I almost didn't answer, but the phone kept ringing. When I finally picked up, her voice was soft. Ethan, please don't hang up. What do you want? I asked. I heard about Adam, she said. He told me everything. What you did? I didn't speak. She hesitated. I didn't know he was lying to me too. I let out a bitter laugh. Now you do. I'm sorry, she whispered. For everything. Sorry doesn't fix it, Lena. It just reminds me that it happened. I know, she said. But you can't live on anger. It's killing you. Her words hit harder than I wanted to admit. You think I care about peace now? You used to, she said softly. Before all this, the line went quiet. For a moment, I almost said her name, almost told her I missed her. But I did instead. I whispered, Goodbye, Lena, and ended the call. I stood by the window, watching the city lights flicker. Cars passed below like veins pulsing through the streets. Somewhere in that mess of light and sound, Adam was gone. His career in ashes, I'd won. But it didn't feel like victory. It felt like standing in the ruins of a home I'd burned myself. Mark called later that night to thank me. He said I'd saved the company. I told him it wasn't about saving anything. It was about ending something. After the call, I poured myself a drink. The whiskey burned down my throat, but I felt nothing. No satisfaction, no closure, just silence. Revenge wasn't power. It was poison, and I had swallowed every drop. I stared at my reflection in the window, tired eyes, hollow face. Congratulations, I muttered. You finally hurt them. The man in the glass didn't smile back. He just looked empty. I didn't expect peace to walk into my life wearing a soft smile and carrying 2 cups of coffee. Black. No sugar, Grace said, placing one in front of me. You still drink it that way, right? I nodded. You remembered. I pay attention, she said, sitting across from me. Most people don't. I looked at her, unsure what to say. The office had grown colder since Adam's downfall. People whispered less now, but the silence was heavier. Grace didn't fill it with empty words. She filled it with presence. After a while, she asked, You still painting? I blinked. Painting? Yeah, she smiled. I saw that photo on your desk, the one of you holding a brush. You looked alive in it. That was years ago, I muttered. Another life. She tilted her head. Then maybe it's time you visit that life again. I laughed softly. You think paint can fix a broken heart? No, she said, her tone calm but certain. But it can help you hear it again. Her words stayed with me. That night, I dug through my closet until I found the old wooden box. Brushes, colors, dried tubes of paint, pieces of a version of me I'd abandoned. I set up the easel near the window. The canvas stared back, blank and quiet. For hours, I just stood there. My hands shook when I finally lifted the brush. Grace called later. "Did you try?" "Yeah," I said. "It's harder than I thought." She chuckled. "You're out of practice, not out of talent. Don't overthink it. I don't know where to start." "Start anywhere," she said. "The paint doesn't judge." So I did. I painted the skyline I saw every night, the one that used to look like a cage but now felt like space. Every stroke carried a memory. Every color bled something I'd been too afraid to feel. A few days later, Grace stopped by. She stood behind me quietly, watching the half-finished piece. "It's beautiful." She whispered. "It's messy," I replied. "Messy is beautiful," she said. "Means it's real." I smiled for the first time in weeks. "You talk like you've done this before." "Haven't," she said. "But I know what it's like to rebuild yourself." I turned to her. "What did you rebuild from?" She hesitated, then said softly, "Losing someone I thought would never leave." Our eyes met. No explanations needed. It's just shared silence between two people who understood too much. We spent more evenings together after that. Sometimes she read while I painted. Sometimes we talked. Sometimes we'd in one night she said, "You smile differently now, do I?" "Yeah," she said. "It's not forced anymore." I looked at the painting, finished at last. A blend of storm and sunlight. "I think it's because I finally stopped fighting the silence." She nodded. "Silence isn't the enemy, Ethan. It's the start." I sat down beside her. "You make it sound easy." "It's not," she said. "But you're doing it anyway. That's what matters." I studied her face, the calmness, the quiet strength in her eyes. She wasn't a replacement for Lena. She was something entirely different. A mirror that didn't reflect pain but possibility. "I don't know what this is," I admitted. "You and me, I mean." She smiled gently. "It doesn't have to be anything right now. Just be here." "Here," I repeated. "That's new for me. Then maybe it's a good place to start." I laughed softly. "You always know what to say." "Not always," she said, sipping her coffee. "But I know when not to speak." We sat in the quiet that followed, and for once, it wasn't heavy. It felt like breathing after years underwater. The pain was still there, faint but real, like a scar that no longer hurt to touch. Grace reached over, brushing a streak of paint from my hand. "See? You're getting color back." I looked at her, then at the canvas glowing under the warm light. "Maybe I am." "Keep painting, Ethan. The world hasn't ended yet." For the first time, I believed her. It was a Sunday afternoon when I heard the knock. I almost didn't answer. The sound was soft, hesitant, like a memory, unsure if it still belonged here. When I opened the door, she was standing there. Lena. Her hair was shorter, her eyes tired. She looked like someone who'd been running from herself for too long. "Hi, Ethan," she said quietly. My throat went dry. "Lena." She smiled faintly, the kind of smile that tries to hide regret but fails. "You look different." "Timed as that," I said. "You too." She hesitated on the doorstep. "Can I come in?" Part of me wanted to slam the door. Another part wanted to know why she'd come back at all. I stepped aside. "Yeah." She walked in slowly, her eyes moving over the familiar room like it was haunted. "You kept the place." "I live here," I said flatly. "I just thought—" She trailed off. I don't know what I thought. Silence stretched. I finally asked, "Why are you here, Lena?" She looked down at her hands. "Because I needed to see you. To say I'm sorry." I almost laughed. "Sorry?" "I know you don't believe me," she said, her voice trembling. "But I made a mistake." I crossed my arms. "Which one? Leaving me or choosing him?" Her eyes filled with tears. "Both," I exhaled slowly. "That's a lot of regret for one sentence." She took a step closer. "Ethan, please, Just let me explain. Stared at her, fighting the old urge to care. Explain what? How you walked out without looking back. How you let him convince you I was cheating. She winced. I know. I believed things I shouldn't have. Adam said a lot of things. I cut in. He was good at that. He lied to me, she whispered. He told me you'd betrayed me, that you'd been with someone else. I was stupid enough to trust him. And now, I asked coldly, you finally figured out he was lying? She nodded slowly. He left me, Ethan. Took my savings, used my name to get business connections, then disappeared. I lost everything. I let the words sink in. So you're here because karma showed up? I'm here because I finally saw the truth, she said. You were the only one who ever cared about me. My jaw tightened. And what do you want me to do with that truth, Lena? Frame it? Forgive you? Tears streamed down her cheeks. No, I don't expect forgiveness. I just wanted to see you again. To tell you that you didn't deserve what I did? The ache in my chest returned, sharp and unwelcome. You think those words fix anything? No, she whispered. But they're all I have left. I turned away, running a hand through my hair. You left me when I was breaking, Lena. You walked away when I begged you to stay. Do you know what that does to a person? She sobbed quietly. I do now. I looked back at her. Do you? Her voice cracked. I wake up every night wishing I could go back. My mom, Mrs. Carter, she said I should come see you. She said it's the only way I'll ever forgive myself. I swallowed hard. Mrs. Carter was always kinder than you deserved. She was, Lena said softly. She still asks about you. It almost made me smile. Of course she does. She was the only one who saw me when you stopped looking. Lena stepped closer again. Ethan, I'm not asking for another chance. I just needed you to know I'm sorry. You were right about everything. I stared at her, the woman who once felt like home. Do you know what's funny? She blinked. What? I spent months wishing you'd say that, dreaming of this exact moment. And now that it's here, I don't feel anything. Her lips trembled. Nothing? Nothing, I said quietly. Maybe that's the real revenge, not hating you anymore. She covered her face, crying softly. I don't blame you. I'd hate me too. Don't, I said. I just don't have space for you in my life anymore. She nodded slowly. Then I'll go. I followed her to the door but didn't open it for her. She turned once more. Thank you for letting me say it. I met her gaze. Goodbye, Lena. The door clicked shut. I stood there for a long time, staring at the handle like it might turn again. The silence felt different now. Not heavy, not sharp, just quiet. I sat down on the couch, exhaling a breath I didn't realize I'd been holding. She was gone again. But this time, it didn't hurt. It just ended. When she called the next day, I almost didn't answer. I thought I'd closed that door for good. But something in her voice message, the way she said please, made me pick up. Ethan. She whispered when I answered. What do you want now, Lena? I asked, tired already. There's something I didn't tell you yesterday, she said. Something I should have told you a long time ago. I sighed. Haven't we said enough? No, she said firmly. Not this. Her tone stopped me. Fine, say it. Not over the phone, she said. Please, just one more time. Meet me at the park near the bridge sunset. I almost refused. But curiosity, or maybe weakness, won. When I saw her there, she looked nervous, clutching something in her hand. The wind pushed her hair across her face. She didn't look like the woman who'd once broken me. She looked like someone terrified of her own truth. What is it, Lena? I asked. She looked at me for a long time before speaking. When I left, I wasn't just leaving you, I frowned. What are you talking about? Her eyes shimmered. I was pregnant. The word hit me like a blow. What? She nodded, tears spilling instantly. I was 2 months along. Adam found out before I could tell you. He said you'd never accept the baby. He told me you'd think it wasn't yours. My voice cracked. And you believed him? I was scared, Ethan, she said, shaking. He told me you'd been unfaithful, that you'd move on with someone else. I didn't know what to believe. I panicked. I stared at her, my heart pounding. So you just left? I thought I was protecting the baby, she whispered. I thought I was doing the right thing. I took a step back. You took everything from me, Lena. My trust, my peace, my child. She cried harder. I know. I live with that every day. Felt dizzy. You could have called me? Written me. Anything. I wanted to, she said, but Adam controlled everything. My phone, my money, even my family. When I tried to leave him, he threatened to take the baby. My voice was barely a whisper. And now, she opened her bag slowly and handed me a photo in it. A little boy smiled. Messy brown hair, dimpled cheeks, and eyes I knew better than my own. He's 5, she said softly. His name is Lucas. My knees almost gave out. He has my eyes. She nodded. Everyone says that. I held the photo like it might disappear. You kept him from me for 5 years. I know, she whispered, and I can never make that right. I laughed bitterly through tears. 5 years, Lena. Do you know how many nights I asked myself what I did wrong? How many times I thought I was the reason you left? I do, she said. Because I did the same thing, wondering if I'd destroyed the only good thing in my life. I looked at her, trembling. Does he know about me? She hesitated. Not yet. But I've told him stories about a kind man who loved his mother once. He knows your name. My throat tightened. He deserves to know the truth. He will, she said. That's why I'm here. I don't want to hide it anymore. You deserve to meet him if you want to. I sank onto the park bench, wiping my face. Want to, Lena? I've dreamed of being a father my whole life. And all this time, he was out there. She sat beside me. I was selfish. I let fear control me. I shook my head slowly. You let lies control you, she whispered. I know. The photo trembled in my hands. What is he like? She smiled faintly. He loves drawing. And stars? He says he wants to be an astronaut. A weak laugh escaped me. Figures. I used to tell you that when I was a kid, she nodded. That's why I named him Lucas. After the night sky. After you. That broke me. The tears came fast, unstoppable. All the years I spent hating you, I whispered, and I didn't even know I was a father. She reached for my hand, but I pulled back. Don't, I said softly. Not yet. I understand, she whispered. I looked at the horizon, the sky bleeding gold into blue. I lost 5 years with him. I won't lose another day. Lena's voice shook. Then you'll meet him? I nodded slowly, still staring at the photo. Yeah, I'll meet my son. When I saw him, my heart stopped. Lucas sat on the swing, tiny legs kicking the air, his laughter floating like music I'd forgotten existed. Lena stood beside him, her hands tucked into her coat pockets, his eyes red from crying. Ethan, she said softly as I approached. I nodded, unable to trust my voice. He's taller than I expected, she smiled faintly. He grows fast. He's curious about everything. Lucas looked up at me, head tilted. Mommy, is that him? Lena knelt beside him. Yes, honey. This is Ethan. Studied me for a moment before waving shyly. Hi, Ethan. Something in me cracked at that single word. Not dad, not father, just Ethan. But I smiled anyway. Hey, buddy, he grinned, showing a missing tooth. Mom said, you like stars too. I laughed softly, sitting on the bench near him. Yeah, I used to watch them every night when I was your age. Do you still? He asked. I hesitated. Not as much anymore. You should, he said simply. They're still there. I looked at Lena. Her eyes met mine, full of guilt and something like peace. He's a good kid, I whispered. She nodded. He reminds me of you more every day. For a while, I just watched him play, his laughter filling spaces I thought would stay empty forever. Every sound was a knife and a gift at once. After a few minutes, he ran back, holding something small. Here, he said, handing me a folded paper. I opened it, a crayon drawing of 3 stick figures under a blue sky. One had brown hair like mine, the tallest one. "That's you," he said proudly. "And that's me and Mom." I swallowed hard. "It's beautiful, Lucas." He smiled. "You can keep it." I nodded, slipping it into my jacket pocket like it was made of glass. "Thank you." He ran off again, chasing a butterfly. Lena sat down beside me, her voice barely a whisper. "He doesn't understand yet. I didn't want to confuse him until I was sure you wanted to be part of his life." I looked at the ground. "And are you sure now?" "I am," she said. "But it's not my choice anymore, is it?" I sighed. "No, it's his. And maybe mine." We sat in silence for a moment. The park was quiet except for the soft creak of the swings and the faint hum of traffic beyond the trees. She finally said, "You hate me less now, don't you?" I turned to her. "I don't hate you, Lena. I did for a long time. But hate just kept me chained to what you did. I'm tired of being angry." Tears gathered in her eyes. "You should hate me." "I deserve that, maybe," I said quietly. "But I think forgiving you hurts less than hating you." She covered her face with her hands. "I wish I could undo it all." "You can't," I said. "Neither can I. We both have to live with what's left." She looked up, eyes glistening. "Do you ever wonder what we could have been if I'd stayed?" I smiled faintly. "All the time. But maybe we weren't meant to stay. Maybe we were just meant to learn." She nodded, wiping her cheeks. "You sound like Grace." "Maybe I finally listened," I said with a weak laugh. For a while we just sat there, watching Lucas chase raindrops as the sky began to darken. "He deserves the truth," I said finally. "He'll get it," she promised. "When he's ready." I stood, taking one last look at the boy who unknowingly carried both my pain and my peace. "Tell him I'm proud of him, even if he doesn't understand why yet." Lena rose too, her hands trembling. "Ethan, will you see him again?" I hesitated. "Maybe someday. Right now, I think he needs you more than he needs me." Her voice broke. "And what about us?" I met her eyes. "Us ended a long time ago." She nodded slowly. "I know, I just wanted to hear you say it." I exhaled, the weight in my chest finally lifting. "I forgive you, Lena. Not for you, for me." Tears streamed down her face. "Thank you." We stood in silence as the first drops of rain began to fall, gentle, like the day we first met. "Do you remember?" she whispered. "The rain that night?" I smiled weakly. "Yeah, you said it felt like the world was crying with us." "And now?" she asked. "Now," I said, looking up, "it feels like the world's finally letting us go." Lucas ran toward her, laughing as raindrops splashed his hair. "Mom, it's raining." She smiled through tears. "Go on, Lucas. Let's get home." He waved at me one last time. "Bye, Ethan." "Bye, buddy," I said softly. They walked away hand in hand, fading into the rain. I stood there until they disappeared, my heart breaking and healing at the same time. Maybe in another life, I whispered to the wind, we would have made it. And then I turned away, finally free. It's strange how quiet the world becomes when your heart stops fighting it. 2 years have passed, and I still walk by that park every Sunday morning. The benches have been repainted, the swings replaced. But the wind, it still hums her name sometimes. "Morning, Ethan," Grace called out from across the path. I turned, smiling. "You're early." She laughed softly. "You say that every week, because you always are." We walked side by side, the silence between us, not heavy anymore, just familiar. She glanced at me. "You've stopped bringing the sketchbook." "I haven't needed it lately," I said. "The world feels enough again." "That's a good thing," she said, tucking her hair behind her ear. "You finally let it all go?" "Not all of it," I admitted. "Just enough to breathe." She nodded, her voice gentle. That's how healing sounds. Quiet. Not empty. We reached the old oak tree where Lena once waited for me, rain dripping from her hair as she whispered goodbye. I paused there every time, not out of habit, but respect. Grace looked at me. "Still thinking about her?" Sometimes, I said honestly, but it's different now. It doesn't hurt, it just reminds me who I was.
Al, what do you remember most?
She asked. I smiled faintly. Her laugh. It was like a song that didn't need words. Grace nodded. And what do you miss least? The lies, I said quietly, and the silence that followed them. We sat down on the bench, the one with initials carved into the side. Not ours, not theirs. Just someone else's story beginning. Grace sighed. Do you ever wish things had gone differently? I looked at the sky, pale blue with streaks of gold. If they had, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have met you. I wouldn't have learned what peace feels like. Hey, she smiled. You make it sound easy. It wasn't, I said. It took losing everything to understand I never really owned anything. Not love, not people, not forever. She tilted her head. You still believe in forever? I thought for a moment. Yes, but not the kind people promise. Forever isn't someone staying. It's what they leave inside you when they go. Grace leaned back, looking at the clouds. That's beautiful. It's true, I said. Lena left me with silence, and for a long time, I thought that was punishment. But now, I know it was a gift. I finally heard myself again. Grace smiled. You sound like someone who's forgiven life. Maybe I have. I laughed softly. Or maybe life just stopped apologizing. She reached out, touching my hand lightly. You deserve peace, Ethan. I have it, I said, squeezing her hand back. It just looks different than I expected. We sat in comfortable quiet. Children laughed nearby, chasing pigeons. A couple walked past, holding hands the way Lena and I once did. But this time, I didn't flinch. Grace broke the silence. You ever talk to her? No, I said. We said everything that needed saying that day. Anything more would just be echoes. She'd be proud of you, Grace said softly. Maybe, I replied. Or maybe she already was, and that's why she left, so I'd find who I was without her. The wind rustled through the trees, carrying the faint scent of rain. I closed my eyes, breathing it in. It smelled like that night, the night she walked away. Only this time, it didn't hurt. You okay? Grace asked. Yeah, I whispered. For the first time, I really am. We stood, and as we walked toward the exit, I glanced back at the park one last time. She promised forever, I said quietly. Grace looked at me, and she broke it. 8. No, maybe forever just ended earlier than I thought. She smiled. And now? Now, I said, I promise it to myself. She laughed softly. That's the best kind of forever. We reached the corner, where sunlight spilled across the pavement. Grace, I said, stopping. Yeah. Thank you for staying when I didn't even know how to ask. Her eyes softened. You don't thank people for love, Ethan. You just return it when you can. I smiled, feeling the weight of years dissolve into the morning air. Then I guess it's my turn to start giving back. She nodded. And we kept walking, no past chasing us, no promises hanging over us. The wind whispered again. Faint and familiar, but this time, I didn't listen for her voice. I listened for mine. And for the first time since she left, the silence didn't feel like forever. It felt like peace.